to my channel, all my jewels. I'm so excited to bring this video to you, and if you read the title, then you know exactly what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about how much it actually costs to be a realtor and or a real estate salesperson. Some things that I wish I would have known before getting started. Not saying that I wouldn't have still done it. However, I just would have been a little bit more prepared for what I was getting into. Okay, so if you haven't already, stop what you're doing. Stop. I'm gonna give you a second to go ahead and subscribe and turn on that post notification bell so you know when I post a video. Let me give you a second. All right, thank you so much. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's get into this video. All right, so how much did it cost for me to become a realtor? So if you watched my introduction video, you saw that I discussed that I began taking classes in May of 2022. Now, before I even started taking classes in May, I registered and signed up for the class approximately, I think December of 2021, I signed up. And I purposely did it for May because I knew my kids would be out of school and it would be a little bit easier to maneuver because I wanted to take the classes during the day. I still was working my full-time job, but at that point the kids were on summer break. So one of them was able to go to North Carolina. My oldest went to North Carolina to stay with her grandma for about a month or so, maybe about the whole summer basically. And my son, he stayed here because he was into sports and everything. So he was here, but he was a real good trooper with knowing that mommy was away and having to finish class. He was excellent. So I really didn't have too much of an issue of him feeling like he was, I wasn't around or whatever for those two sets of classes. So I attended the Georgia MLS real estate school in Tucker, Georgia. I heard of that from the same acquaintance that I learned about wholesale from. So I went on there, researched a little bit, and I was like, okay, well, I'll try them. The good thing about that school is they do their classes in 2 parts. So that means you don't have to pay for one whole class. You can pay it in 2 parts. Each class was about $225, I believe, $225. So I paid for my first class, which is $225. I did that in May. Then I paid for my second class before I finished my first class because I knew I was going to pass, because you have to pass each class. So you get tests in each part, and you have to pass the test with a 72 or higher in order to move to the next class. So before I even took the final exam, I paid for the second class because I knew I was gonna pass. I had my faith was on 1,000, and I feel like before starting, I asked God. I said, God, if this is for me, let me get through this as smoothly as possible, and He did just that. So I paid $225 for the first class, then I paid $225 for the second class. So those 2 classes equals, of course, $450. That's how much it was just to take the classes to be eligible to sit to take the state exam. Okay, so right now we're at $450. Now $450 is the standard amount. That's how much I paid because I didn't have to retake. Now there are times where you may have to retake it. You have 2 chances to retake the actual exams. However, if you do not pass it, then you would have to pay to retake the class at a discounted rate, but you still would have to pay. So I didn't factor in that because I didn't have to do it. So I'm giving you exactly what I had to do, okay? Once you complete and pass the class, the 2 classes, and get your 75-hour license. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. It is lightning really bad. But your 75-hour pre-license, you will then have the option to be able to do a cram course. The cram course consists of you being able to just have I think a whole weekend or a whole day, I'm not really sure because I didn't take it, of all the information that you learned over the 2 courses of the 2 classes compiled so that you can get ready to take the state exam. That's, I think, $40. I didn't take it, so I didn't incorporate it in my amount, but that's something that I think a lot of people do, and they say that it works really well. So definitely that's something that you would want to do. I would do that. Okay. So after I passed the class and I had already paid out my $450, I immediately registered for the test. So I passed my test on 6/28. I registered for the class on 6/28. The exam on 6/28, in which I took it on 6/30. Now, I took the exam on 6/30, the state exam, and I failed it by one question. One question. To take the state exam, though, you have to pay $120. It's $120 flat for you to take the state exam. So when I registered on the day I passed the class, I paid $120 to take it on the 30th. And every time you fail it, you have to pay for it. So once I failed it by that one question on the 30th, such a discouraging situation. However, I wasn't too discouraged. Before I left out the parking lot, friends, Jules, my people, before I left out the parking lot, I had already scheduled to take my exam again. And so when I had people that I was talking to that was in my class, they were trying to schedule, they didn't have any dates past as early as the 30th. They had the 30th and then I think the 6th or something. Mind you, we're coming up on a holiday weekend because that's July 4th coming up. So on 6/30, I got in there, didn't pass. So I went and tried it again, and I went up there before I left the parking lot. They had a date for 7/2, which was that Saturday, and I registered for it. So I paid another $120. So with that was $240 right there that I spent just to take the test. Okay, so that $450 and then the $240 that I spent just to take the test. Okay. So if in a perfect world you pass on the first try, a lot of people do, and I commend the people that do. Not to say that I couldn't have done it, because I know I could have. It was some things that I did on that test that I know that I shouldn't have, but I failed by one question, which really, that is worse than failing by 15 questions. When you fail by one question, you're like, what is my life? Oh my God. But I knew that I had to take it again. I did not come this far to wait to have to take it. So I registered immediately. 7/2, paid another $120, sitting in that parking lot. And I passed it after that, of course. So here we are. But yeah, so that was my cost for the actual test. Now, once I passed it, they give you a paper, a green paper. Congratulations. The lady kind of played with me a little bit. And so the paper has everything that you need to get licensed. Now, just because you passed the test does not mean you're licensed. You have to get your background check. So I went to a local police station in my county, and I think I paid $10 for the background check. And then I had to take that document along with my license and a money order to pay for the license, which was $170. So just that process alone was $180 for me to apply for my license. Your background check has to be squeaky clean. If not, then you have to do some other things. That's another video. But yeah, that was $180 for me to do that. So after you become licensed, the amount that you would have spent, that's with no retakes being done on any of the tests and everything being fine, the amount so far would be $750. And like I said, for me, I had to take a retake, so I had to add money to that. But $750 from the class to taking the test to actually applying for your license. That's how much it would be so far. I count money, I count money, I count money. I'm swerving 100. That's what crazy I did. 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 I made it so. Now, after you apply for your license and you get it, I had my brokerage already that I was going to work for, so that whenever I applied for my license, it automatically came back to me, because I got it immediately. It came back to me with my brokerage information already on it. So that was my choice. Some people don't do that. Some people just apply for it, have their license just sitting, and then once they find a brokerage, they'll have GREC, which is the Georgia Real Estate Commission, send over their license to the brokerage. I didn't want to do that because sometimes they said it takes too long, and I wanted to get started because I had already interviewed the brokerage that I wanted to join, which is Metro Brokers, Better Homes and Gardens, real estate. Yeah, best brokerage, I think, hands down. And I've only been there for a short while, but so far so good. So depending on your choice of brokerage after you become licensed, there are monthly fees to cover expenses such as MLS, FMLS, membership, insurance, and the systems that your brokerage uses. Usually they have a little fee. For me, it's about between $80 and $83 a month for me. I don't really know exactly how much. You also have to pay $15 a month for your super key. Super key, of course, you use to get into all the properties whenever you're showing properties, or even when you have a property listed, you are able to get into other properties. But that's something that all real estate agents have to pay, not just us. So my brokerage, so everybody has to pay that. Then you have, now with my brokerage, you have to be a part of the Realtors Association. So you have to join a board. I joined the board in my county, and board fees are, I don't know if it's different for different brokerages, or I don't know, but for me it's about $430 something a month. I'm sorry, a year. Ooh, a month, Jesus, be a wheel. But it's 400, and I think it's like 430, if I'm not mistaken. $430 a month. I'm sorry, a year. I keep saying a month, my God. A year. So but you could do a payment arrangement. So like you could pay a certain amount of money a month. And I think that the way that they do it is they break it down just for you to have 4 months of payments. Like you could pay over those 4 months, and after that, then you're good. The benefits are really great for the board. So if your company makes you do it, or is that something that you have to be, that's really good. There's some companies that don't make you become a realtor, but I think realtors are held to a higher expectations than just real estate salesperson. Even though we're all licensed under the same commission, once you become a realtor, it's a little different, which is good. And you have great perks and stuff like that as well. And then after you pay those things, as far as like your one-time payments, and then you start with your monthly that's coming out, everything else that you do is totally up to you under your budget, such as your materials you want to use, how you market, different things like that. If you have to pay for it, that's totally up to you. How you do that is really, real estate is really what you make of it, because you can, do very little, or you can do a lot. You get out what you put in. Sometimes people start, and they start, with the bare minimum, and that's okay, because there's some things that you can do that you don't even have to, it doesn't require much money, I should say. And you are on a budget. You just have to be creative, and you have to know how to navigate with what you have to make what you want. Period. That's it. That's the only thing that you can do. And you'd be surprised. So just start. Those amounts that I provided for the school is strictly for the school that I went to. There are other schools, and from what I researched, most of them are around the same amount. The good thing about my brokerage is, after I reach my 6th transaction, which I will be doing really soon, check me out. I'm gonna do a video on it. They pay you back for your school. So whatever you paid out for schooling, they pay you back. And also, what's another good thing is that if you are looking to become a real estate agent, my brokerage has a school where they have classes. I didn't know about it prior to doing MLS, but they do. But I do recommend Georgia MLS because I did use them, and I did like the teaching. The teachers really prepared you for the test. They really did. They really did. And I'm hoping to see one of them at the closing table, because I had 2 teachers, and both of them were, of course, active realtors. They were active from practicing real estate. So that was a good thing, because we were able to pick their brains and ask them questions on our off time. you know, on breaks and stuff. And they were really receptive and answering all the questions that we had. And most of the people that was in my first class was in my second class. And the thing that was great about it was there was so many young people, like in high school. So one boy graduated from high school while he was doing the class. So it was really inspiring. It was inspiring to see. It's never too early and it's never too late. So, but yeah, that's how much it cost me to become a real estate agent and a realtor. And I'm just so excited to begin working with you guys. So you seeing what I do today in the life and different things like that, different content that I have coming up. So this is one of those days where I'm recording this video, but I have to get ready to be a sports mom. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. But I wanted to end with a Bible verse, Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me. You can do it. It is all up to you. It's all in here, and it's all in here. It's all in how you make it. It was great talking with you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you turn on that post notification bell. I'm telling you, these videos are going to get better and better. I got so much information that I want to share. So just turn it on so that you can see and you can learn. And then you can ask me questions. And then we can, you know, talk about it. Okay? I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.